The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey everybody, welcome to the call. This is Andy Tuttle with the Tuttle Group at Fairway Mortgage. We're doing our business wrap-up webinar series. Thank you guys so much for being here and for your patience. Dayton has had some technical difficulties. He is getting on right now. He's going to do this via call, so he's still going to be here. What we're going to do, I just want to outlay the purpose for this call and for this webinar and kind of get that going so you kind of understand how the time is going to break out over the next half hour, and then we'll just wait a second while Dayton logs on and calls, and we'll get going. So one, we've been doing this series for the last 3 weeks, and so every week we've had a different speaker on to talk about things from, getting the PR, following up on the events, right? So getting PR, telling your story online, and then just working your business as a business. And we're ending it with today with Dayton, and we're going to do about 10 minutes at this point from Dayton, just on what he's doing with his team this year, right now, how he's focused on the rest of the year and for the first quarter. So you're going to get his tactics for business planning and goal setting within his own team. So you can take some of those, and then we're just going to open it up to Q&A for you guys for the last 15 to 20 minutes. So you can focus on business planning, or if you've got some questions for Dayton regarding prospecting or converting leads or database, whatever it is you have, that's the purpose for this call, is to get some of that Q&A done so that you can have those answers. So we're going to do that. I want you to know that on the sidebar, there's two ways you can ask those questions. You can raise your hand during the call, and then we can click on that, and you can speak and ask the question, or you can go into the chat feature, and you can go down in the chat feature there and just type the question up to the whole group or just to me, and I'll answer and field those questions, and we'll get that done through the call. So if you guys would just hang on for us for just one more minute. Dayton is texting me right now and saying he's just going to call in. The computer is not working, so he's just going to call in, and we'll do that. So just give it just one more minute, and we will get started. Thank you guys so much for your patience. You don't have what? Hey, Jenny, can you hear me? There's no. Don't put the audio pin. Just push pound. There's not one to tell you call in. I guess just do that and see if you can get in, and see if you can talk to me. So just try that. Have you called in on another number? Audio pin is 26 if you can hear me, Dayton. Dayton, are you there?
Got it. Audio pin 26.
Okay.
I'm all the way.
Okay, get on there, buddy. I'll see you in a sec. Thanks. Are you here? Hey, Jenny, Liz, can you hear me? Can you hear me in there?
Yeah, just call him or something.
He says he's on there right now. He says he's on. You can right now. That's weird. Okay, hey guys, I'm unmuted now. I'm sorry about this. We're having some technical difficulties here. So what we're going to do is I am getting Dayton. Just do me a favor, Dayton, and talk.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me okay?
Guys, would you tell me right here if you can hear Dayton? Because if not, we may have to reschedule this call, and I'm going to apologize greatly to all of you. Can you guys chat me in and tell me if you can hear him? Cool. Okay, so Dayton, guys, here we go. So Dayton, this is what I want you to do. It looks like people can hear you, and so I'm going to hold up the phone to the mic, and if you do me a favor and just start sharing with them what you're doing this time of year. We've already introduced you. We've gotten everything going there. So if you just do me a favor and just start sharing what you're going to be doing in your business plan this time of the year, and we'll do that for the next 8 to 10 minutes, and then we're going to open it up for Q&A.
Okay. Well, again, everybody, thank you very much for your time. And Andy, thank you for putting this together. I really apologize that we couldn't make the technology work. It's very frustrating. I know the time and effort that goes into this. So moving forward, what we're doing is we're going to go on a trip next year. And we're going to go on a trip that's going to last 365 days. So the first thing we need to know about a trip that we're going on is where we're starting from. So part of this exercise is an assessment of your 2016 year. How did you do? How much revenue did you bring in? What kind of transactions did you do? What's the composition of your team? What are you really good at? What are you not good at? And what we want to do is plan a year around the goals that you set and the year that you want to have. And not just arbitrarily add 25 or 30% growth, but systematically, intentionally plan for the new year. If you've got more than a couple of years of data, this is a lot easier to do. If you don't, you're going to have to go by at least 2016 numbers to see what you closed each month, the source of each of those closings, and where you think you did really well. What are you really good at? What does a good client look like for you? Is it listings? Is it buyers? Is it first-time home buyers? Is it move-up buyers? Are you a relocation specialist? Are you a luxury home specialist? What's your sweet spot? What do you really want your business to look like? And how successful were you in executing on that in 2016? And where did you fall short? Let's hold up a mirror. Let's get on the scale. And let's look at what we really did in 2016. We chased a geographic farm, but we really didn't go all in on the geographic farm. Or we bought a bunch of Zillow leads, but we didn't do a good job. We didn't do a good job on the Zillow leads. And we don't have the manpower, the infrastructure, the back office, the bandwidth it takes to take care of those. But we spent a lot of money on that. So let's take a really good, honest assessment of our business. What does our database look like? What do our referral partners look like? Are there people that we can count on that want to send us 2 or 3 or 4 transactions a year? And how many of those do we have in our stable? Are we strictly a repeat and referral business, or are we strictly a non-referred? We're only chasing open house leads, internet leads, and things like that. So you got to take a look at where you are right now. What does your business look like? What does your financial situation look like? Money in the bank, taxes paid, and so on. Andy, am I tracking okay for you right now?
Yes, you are, and I'm right. Yes, I can, and so can they.
Okay,
and
good.
So, yeah, keep
I just
going.
want to look away from my phone, so I want to make sure we're doing okay.
You got it.
So step number 1 is an assessment of what we did in 2016. A really fair, honest assessment of that. And anything that I talk about on this call, Andy can help you with. So he's got access as one of our coaching clients at the core. We share. So anything that I discuss, any system or process, any checklist, anything that we have is available to you through Andy. All you got to do is talk to him. He wants to help you grow your business. He wants to help you be successful. So he can help you with this process. It's strictly confidential. He's not going to yap about your business versus somebody else's business. No great trade secrets or anything like that. So his job, his goal here is to help you grow your business. So just as a quick background, in 2016, we're going to close about 500 sides. We're going to do about $120 million in sales. We're going to break $3 million in fees. So these are the same things that I'm doing. Andy can share these with you, whether you're a sole practitioner, you've got a 1 or 2 person team, or you've got a larger team with bigger ambition. The trick is not to get caught up in my numbers or somebody else's numbers in your office. You got to play your game. So you build your business, your plan around what you want to accomplish in 2017. Andy's going to help you do that. So step number one was the assessment of where we are right now. What are we good at? What are we tracking on? What does our team look like? And so on. Step number two is a team assessment. What's your chemistry like in your office? We have what we call a culture test. How is everybody feeling loved in the office? Because if your people are feeling loved and cared for, they're going to do a better job for you. So we do what we call a core culture test, and we ask them 8 simple questions. Are you being heard? Are you feeling loved and appreciated? Are there any ideas or suggestions on how I can be a better leader? Are there any ideas or suggestions on how we can improve our process? How are you showing up as a team member? And so on. So then you can get a pretty good assessment of where your team stacks up. Do they know their jobs and their responsibilities? Do they know what their metrics are? Have they bought into the vision? Do they even know what your vision is? Maybe they're just showing up and work every day, just trading dollars for hours, but they don't really have a clue where they're going, what the plan is, what their personal plan is, or what your plan is, because you haven't shared it with them. So part of it is sharing that vision, doing an assessment of what their goals are. And as a leader, as a boss or a manager, your job is to grow them. And maybe you grow them up and out the door, or maybe you just grow them to be an even more productive member of your team. But you got to find out where they are and what they're looking for and how engaged they are in your practice and your success. But that won't matter if they don't know how engaged you are in their success and their growth and their ambition. So you got to do this core culture test. That's step number 2. Step number 3 is we got to sit down and identify what their major job responsibilities are and major metrics. And we have what we call an off-site meeting. So I'm in the process of doing that right now with the people on my team. Now, I got a 21-person team, so getting everybody in the room at the same time is not very practical. Doesn't make a lot of sense. We've got too many different things going on. But in small groups and clusters of people with the same job descriptions, I'm meeting with them and going through this very same exercise. What can we do better? What are your responsibilities? What does your job look like? How is all that working? And so on. And make sure that they're all aligned with one another and they're all aligned with me and my vision. So each person on your team needs to know what their 3 major responsibilities are. What's their job? Why are they showing up every day? And the other thing they need to know is, what are their 3 major metrics? How are they being measured? 3 listings a week, 5 listings a month, 3 closings a month. How do they know that they're doing a good job on stuff that they have control over? So this comes from the book by Patrick Lencioni, The Truth About Employee Engagement. It's one of the best books, one of the best authors out there right now. He wrote The Advantage. He wrote The Depth of a Meeting. He wrote
5 Dysfunctions of a Team.
Great books like that. And I would encourage you to read anything that he writes. I would get my hands on and read. And this book is The Truth About Employee Engagement. People need to know what role they play in the company, what their responsibilities are, and how they're being measured, and how they grow themselves. So if they think their job is something different from you, you got to get some alignment there. So part of this exercise is making sure that you guys are aligned on your vision. What do we want to do? We want to sell 60 houses next year. How are we going to do that? 30 listings, 30 buyers. Maybe from a geographic farm, maybe from a database, maybe some from referral partners, a good balanced business. Or maybe we're just going to go hustle and buy a bunch of leads all year long. I wouldn't suggest that. That's not what we coach, but there are people that do that. So figuring out, again, where you stand, where you are right now, what's the composition of your team, the culture within your office, and then their job, their responsibilities. And we even do goal setting. So we'll do a form we call the 7 boxes of life. Where are they now? What's going on in their personal life? And what are their personal goals for next year? If I can help them buy a house, if I can help them buy a new car, if I can help them save some money, pay off some debt, I've done a great job for them as a boss. They're going to be a lot more loyal to me as an employee. So in the meantime, they're going to be doing a lot of work for me. But if I can spend a few extra minutes getting to know them a little bit better, going a little bit deeper with them, I'd much rather keep that person as an employee than try to get rid of them and go find somebody else. So understanding where they are and spending some time on them and investing in them and their education and their growth and their personal issues, you're going to get a lot further with them, and you're going to do a lot better on your retention, and you're going to get a lot more productivity out of them because you demonstrated to them that you care about them. Once you've done that, now it's time to sit down and say, what are we going to work on? We are going to grow in these areas. Current client referrals, the database. We're going to grow our database from 200 to 400, 300 to 500, whatever that is, something measurable, something quantifiable. We're going to identify our VIP list, our best previous clients that we've worked with, that we really like them. We share values with them, want to hang out with them. They've got the capacity to refer us. And then we're going to look for our non-principals, people that we haven't done business with as a principal, as a buyer or seller, but could be great referral partners for us, people that we're aligned with on values, people that have the capacity and the willingness to refer. We're going to identify them. We're going to go cultivate a relationship with them, and then we're going to make sure that we are their go-to person. So my good fortune, I've been doing this for 34 years. I've got a great database. I've taken care of these people for a very long time. My problem is at 55, my friends aren't moving like they used to. I got fat the last 25 years on people getting married, having babies, getting divorced, reloading in and out of town. Now my friends are all empty nesters. They got one deal left in them. They're either headed to Horseshoe Bay for a place on the lake, or they're headed to Port Aransas, or they're headed to a garden home. But they're not going to keep moving every 5 to 7 years. So I can have the best database in the world, but if it's a database full of 55 and 60-year-old people that aren't moving, it doesn't do me any good. The fortune that I have is all those people are still working. They got to take care of their retirement. They're at the highest level of their careers. They're making the most money they ever made in their lives, and they are in a position where they can refer me properly. And so I'm aligned with them as a referral partner, and they send me a ton of business. So if you can picture in your mind or write down on a piece of paper, you've got 5 people in your stable of relationships that are going to send you 2 deals a year next year. So that's 10 nice transactions from great referral partners that you're aligned with. You share values with them. You like hanging out with them. You'd have them to dinner, vice versa, that sort of thing. You're at that level with them. You've got 5 people in your stable like that. My fortune is I've got 100 people like that, and I'm chasing 100 more. So I've got established relationships with them. They refer me with value, and they're going to help me sell about 600 houses next year, because they're really good, high-quality referrals. I got vetted referral partners. We've got a great relationship. They know I'm going to take good care of their people. So when I get those people aligned with me, and a database, and some inbound referrals, and some designation referrals, and a geographic farm, and some sign calls, internet hits, that's what helps me build a practice that sells 500 or 600 houses a year. So I concentrate on those referral partners, because just like Andy wants to concentrate on really great realtors that send business to him, he doesn't want to waste a whole lot of time with people that only sell 2 houses a year. That doesn't do him any good. He can only be in so many relationships. But if he can identify really good agents that want to get up and go to work, that work buyers and take great care of them, then that's who he wants to pursue a relationship with and help them grow their business. So those are the major steps. And then, like I said, the caution is making sure that you build the business the way you want it to look. Your hours, your capabilities, your strengths. Don't automatically double. And I used to make this mistake over and over again. I could Excel spreadsheet myself to death. Well, if I get a little bit more here and a little bit more there and grow this little bit and add that up, and I would try to double in a year. And that's a bad idea. It's not sustainable. You're not built to grow that fast. Most people are not. You have scale issues. You have customer service issues. It's not a good plan. A good plan is 10 to 15 to 20% growth, or really good maintenance and fewer hours, depending on what your circumstances are. Maybe you're young and you got to hustle. Maybe you got some debts you've got to retire. You got IRS you got to take care of, or you're just saving for the future, or you got a hot hand right now and you're willing to put in the hours. That's great. Somebody else might be looking to slowly wind their business down, but they want to cut down on the hours. They still want to maintain the same income, but they want to be more intentional about their hours and their time off and their vacations and things like that. You got to play your game. So don't get caught up in somebody else's deal. Figure out your vision for what you want your business to look like, and then play your game accordingly. And then you're going to come up with tactics to fix each of these things. A better database, better referral partners, sign calls, internet hits, open houses, geographic farm. There's very specific tactics to fix each one of these pillars of your business or to grow each one of these pillars of your business. You guys got to decide which ones are important to you and what you want it to look like.
Okay, so Dayton, let me, we have a lot of questions coming in, so here's what I'd like to do, and we'll focus and tie these back in, and you can go on some rants here, but what I want to do is, all the questions that we have, I want to go ahead and get some of those out there, and then we can discuss that and go deeper. So,
Absolutely.
One, we got a few of you that's asked about the author. The author is Patrick Lencioni. He's actually one of the top coaches of Fortune 500 CEO and executive teams, and Dayton's right. He's written some fantastic books you should pick up. We've also got a couple of other questions here. One is, how often do you do that culture test and talk to your team about those kinds of things?
Oh, great question. So I do that twice a year, and I track the results of that. Am I being better as a leader? Am I showing up better as a leader? Are they feeling more cared for? Or how do they feel about themselves? Are they showing up? And typically, it's interesting, they will almost always grade themselves lower than they'll grade everything else. But they grade our operations on a scale of 1 to 10. They grade their personal performance on a scale of 1 to 10. Myself as a leader, and so on. And it's an easy 8 questions, but we ask them for specific feedback. If they just give me a bunch of 10s, that's of no use to me. So it's important that they give you a real score without hurting your feelings and give you some actual specific action steps to do something about it. So then you can look and say, yes, I can do that, or no, I can't. Maybe it's a new desk. I hired a new lady this year, and she had one of those vertical desks where you could stand at your desk.
Yep.
And she brought that in herself. I thought I bought it for her when she moved in, but evidently she brought that in herself. Well, next thing I know, I bought 6 of those for other people on my team. They love it. And so, $400 or $500 a pop, that was a little bit of a hit, but it was, they just thought that was hysterical. They all love standing at their desk, and then they can collapse it back down. So little things like that, I'm in a position where I can do that. That's not a backbreaker for me financially, but getting that kind of feedback and being able to do something about it's huge.
It's wonderful.
So twice a year, to answer your question, twice a year to do that culture test.
Okay, perfect. No, and I appreciate that, and I agree with you. And you're so good at gifting to your team and writing notes and calling them and encouraging them and praising them. All of those things are so important. Another question about culture, though, that I think is good here is how long should you give someone to fit into the culture, and then how do you go about maybe transitioning them out of that culture if it's not a fit?
Wow, that's a great question. I'm still not really good at this, but I've become much better at hiring. Part of it is I've got a bigger team now, and so we have a much more deliberate hiring process. They've got to interview with a lot of people before they get to me and see if we're a good fit. We test them on a strengths finder test. We pull their credit. We check their references. We have them tell us what their goals and ambitions are. I'm not just looking for a seat filler or a body anymore. I'm looking for people with specific skill sets. If you're just getting started or have a small team, you need somebody that can do a lot of things. I would encourage you to find somebody that is already in our industry, already understands our vocabulary and our terminology and how weird this business is. If you hire from out of the industry, the first time somebody fusses at them, they'll bolt back to whatever they did. We typically don't have the patience to train them. So if you can hire somebody that already understands MLS and zip forms and whatever brokerage you're with and all that sort of thing, that is a huge help. So that's number one. I would look for somebody who's already either an agent that couldn't make it at selling, they don't have a sales gene, or someone that works for another agent who can't make a payroll anymore or is throttling back their business. That's who I'm looking for to add to my team at this point.
Okay, but let's say they're already there and you didn't do it right in the beginning, if you will, or you didn't go through those. Now they're there, though. What's your process for, one, working them in and seeing if they're a fit for the culture? How does that work if they're already there and you're feeling like they're not a fit? What kind of timeline should you give them?
So clear, firm, and direct. If it's an attitude issue, an integrity issue, obviously that's not going to work under any circumstances. If it is, you got to sit down and have a hard conversation with them. Andy, this is what I'm looking for, and right now I don't feel like it's a good fit. Do you still want to be a part of this organization, or are you not happy with what's going on? And then Andy's going to say, you know what, you're right, I'm not happy. it's not worth it to me, or, wow, I'm really sorry, what do I need to do? And he's going to fight for the job. There's only two ways to go on that deal. So if you confront somebody with, I'm not happy, it's not working out, there's only two ways for them to go. And like I said, one is, you're right, it's not working out, I'm not happy. And they're not, they're miserable, and it's easy to tell. And nobody's paying this so much money that it's worth their while to come make 35 or 40 grand a year, $45,000 a year. It's not worth it to fight Dallas traffic for a job that you're not happy with. The economy's too good. You can be working anywhere in the Metroplex, 10 minutes from your home. We don't have any special gifts or skill sets. So if you don't have a good person on your team, it's time to cut them loose. They'll be okay. You'll survive.
Yep.
But that's the conversation. Clear, firm, and direct. I'm not happy. I'm frustrated. Here's what my perception of what's going on. Do you want to fix this or not? And they'll say, yes, I do. Or, you know what, you're right. It's not a good fit.
I agree with that, and I think that some people get caught up in a lot of different things, but the bottom line is sometimes we don't have to feel bad about it. It's just not a job fit, and that's okay. It doesn't mean they're bad people or you're a bad person. It just means it's not a fit.
I cannot dunk a basketball. Doesn't make me a bad guy. Okay? All right? So, it's just not, that's not my skill set. That's not my gift.
That's right.
And life's too short for them to be miserable or you to be miserable, especially when you're such an emotionally charged job. But if you come to work and you just had a fight with your spouse or partner, you're just not on your A game. And if they're coming to work every day and you're unhappy with who's in your office, that's just miserable.
Yep.
And why people put up that for any length of time is completely beyond me. But I know I've done it before too. I don't want to fire them. Oh, not before Christmas. Oh my God, I've got too many listings. Oh my God, I've got all these closings going on. Oh, I couldn't possibly cut. Guess what? The world will keep turning. You'll be better off. You'll be happier. Get it over with.
Right. So couldn't agree with that more. So remember, guys, get your questions in. Also, we're going to send out a link to the book in the chat. So look at that and make a copy of that. Remember, you can get your questions in through the chat. You can also raise your hand and keep that up, and we can call you. That's all in your toolbar there. Another question here, I think, is because you mentioned this earlier about make some empowering boundaries about nights and weekends, et cetera. Well, you've been doing this 34 years. We've got a lot of successful agents, a lot of top producers on this call, but they're still in a place, a lot of them I can see, with one assistant, or they're a small team, or they've had some trouble with an assistant, et cetera. So one, how do you, when you don't have a big team, set those empowering boundaries, right, on your business? How do you go about doing that? And then what should you be focusing on if you do have a small team right now going into the year? And just, I'm sorry to ask two at a time. Go with the first question first. How do you set empowering boundaries on your business when you're a small team or just an individual?
Okay, so part of that is your bandwidth and your metrics. Our metrics are 3 transactions per month per person on the team. So if you're closing 4 or 5 transactions, you need to have a 2-person team. If you want to grow any more than that and have any balance or quality of life, you're going to have to add that 3rd person. If you're happy at that level, and you can make a good living at that level, if you're happy there, then you stay there. So 3 transactions per month per person on the team consistently. So that's number 1. Then I was watching my wife. We're building a house right now here in San Antonio. And at 10 o'clock last night, my wife is texting the decorator, and she's texting the builder. Or sent him an email. She wasn't texting me. She sent him an email. And I said, honey, it's 10 o'clock at night. I can't believe you're sending them an email. And then I thought to myself, you know what? It's their responsibility to set their boundary. We're in a 24/7 economy and world that we live in right now. So if she wants to send somebody a text or an email at 7 or 8 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock on a Sunday night or Monday night, that's her prerogative as a customer. If you respond to that as the provider, that's your prerogative. So they've got to set their boundaries. And so as I'm having this conversation with her, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? If they're answering their email at 9 o'clock at night, shame on them. They should be with their family. If you're taking calls from clients, you're training clients to call you at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. You have brought down all your boundaries. And I think if we ask everybody on this call, would you take a listing appointment at 10 o'clock at night? They'd say, no, of course not. That's ridiculous. And then you say, well, what about 9 o'clock at night? Well, most people would say, no, I wouldn't do that. 7 o'clock. And it's funny where you find that tolerance for pain or the willingness to give. And so everybody individually has to set that boundary of, no, I'm not taking calls on Sunday. I'm going to change my voicemail. I'm going to hustle during the week, but I'm not a 24/7 agent. And that was a big aha moment for me. And I had that moment in Dallas in 1995. So it was a long time ago, 1995, at a buy referral only seminar. And I went to that seminar, which is part of where the core came from, was buy referral only. And I came back from that seminar, and I took my home number off my business card. I quit taking phone duty. I quit doing open houses. I was going to work my database, work my relationships, and build a business that was a referral-based business. And that was a big deal back in 95, but it changed my life. And I've been growing ever since.
Well,
So as a practitioner, you got to set boundaries. Who you're going to put up with as a client, what you're going to take on, the geography, the price range, and the hours you're willing to work. But you got to work. When you're willing to work, you got to put in the right effort in the right place.
So what do you say then to people that, because I know a lot of top realtors out there think that, hey, but if I don't take that call and I don't do that email at night, then they're blowing me up. They're going to go with someone else that can respond faster, et cetera. What do you say to the psychology of a lot of realtors feel that their value is being very accessible and very responsive? How do you change that mindset and that shift in paradigm?
So that's great. And we are in the commodity business. Make no mistake about it. There are probably 20, 25,000, maybe 30,000 realtors in the Dallas Metroplex.
Yep.
There's 10,000 in San Antonio. I have no illusion that if I'm not responsive, they can find somebody else in the world going to keep turning. But I'll tell you this. I know we talked about this when I was in Dallas a couple months ago. There's A, B, and C clients. An A client is referred with value, ready to do something now, and will play by your set of rules. Ready to do something now, referred with value, will play by your set of rules. A B client is missing one of those elements, any one of the elements. They won't play by your rules. They won't get pre-qualified with a great lender that you direct them to. They're not in a hurry. Or they were assigned call internet. They weren't referred with value. And a C client is missing two or more of those elements. And our problem typically as practitioners is we don't have enough A clients. And if you don't have enough A clients, you end up with B clients. And if you don't have enough B clients, you end up with C's. And C clients are the reason most people don't last 2 or 3 years in this business. Most people don't make more than about 30 or 40 grand in this business. Most people flame out because they're sad. They don't prospect. They don't cultivate relationships. They don't work their database. They don't work with people who know them, like them, and trust them. They don't establish themselves as a go-to expert, and therefore they get what's left. So if you fill your life, if you fill your bucket with A clients, great referral partners, great database, people you share values with, people that you're aligned with, people who are like you. If you fill your bucket in your life with those people, you don't have to put up with other nonsense. You don't have to deal with the yahoos. You don't have to deal with the people that are disrespectful, that want to chisel you on your fees, that expect you to be a 24/7 agent, that will blow you up if you don't call them back in 30 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
If you don't, that's what you're left with.
Yeah.
If you don't have enough A's, guess what? You get B's and C's.
Yep. Here's what I'd say to that too.
Plow you into the ground.
Yep, that's right. And here's what I'd add to that too. There's a great author, Michael Port, who wrote the book Yourself Solid, a lot of bestsellers. He talks about the red velvet rope policy. And so if you're like, well, man, how do I, attract more of those A clients in my business, et cetera? One good tactic, and Dayton, you kind of touched on it earlier as far as focusing this into the year on what are we good at? What's our clientele like? What are we going to do next year? All of that. One of the things to do is to go back to your database of the clients you've closed in the last couple of years and just circle all of the people that energize you, help you do your best work, and that you love working with. And then go back and break down the characteristics that they have, right? And what you'll find is a great grouping of characteristics of the type of client that you want to go attract. And then it's a lot easier to go about targeting them and attracting them. Dayton, do you have anything to add to that?
No, it's being systematic. the art and the science of this business. So again, if you're aligned with a bunch of 35-year-old people that are getting married and having babies and making good money, you can sell them a lot of houses. If you're aligned with a bunch of 60-year-olds that are empty nesters and spending all their money on travel, they're not going to buy and sell as many houses. So if you end up working with open houses and Zillow leads all the time, they're going to wear you out. But if you're working with people that you went to school with and you go to church with and your kids play with their kids and you live in their neighborhood and they used to work in your industry or vice versa, you're going to have a blast because it's usually a pretty fun business. I mean, there's a couple of deaths and divorces in our deal, but for the most part, somebody selling their house so they can buy a nicer house to take care of their family, that's usually a pretty fun deal.
Absolutely.
And so, again, life's too short to be dealing with people that will bring you down, that you don't want to spend time with. They'll suck the life out of you. And then you don't have anything left when you get home. You don't have anything left for the other clients that are good. You don't have anything left for your family, your friends, your kids. And that's brutal.
Yeah, and what I tell you, it's not fair to them either. And what we talk about is like, think about that client that does wear you out, and then after you just get totally beaten up and you lose all your energy, then you get a call from your ideal client. Are you really giving them your best? Is it really fair to them that you're working with the people that suck your energy? It's really not. And so looking and wrapping up here, Dayton, because we just got a couple of more minutes, here's what I want you to do. If you would quickly summarize those things that you're going to be focusing on the end of the year and give some final words of what you would want them to focus on here at the end of the year. And then I'm going to wrap up with some of the events that we're doing to help with that and make sure they know how to get connected with you after this call. Sound good?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I'm happy to stay on a little bit longer. I know you said it for 45 minutes, but I feel so bad about the technology stuff. I'm at your service. So if we need to do more, I'm happy to. But just a quick review is, first of all, you got to have an assessment of where you are. And so what we're looking at right now is, what do we do really well this year? We excelled in a couple of areas. I had some great success stories. Very proud of my people. What did we do wrong? Where can we do better? We do have some breakage and some spillage. There's always room for improvement. So we're going to have some time patting ourselves on the back, a lot of high fives, a lot of accolades, and we're actually going to celebrate our successes. And then we're also going to sit down and say, okay, we chainsawed a couple of these deals. We can do better. We should have called her back faster. We should have responded sooner. We missed the ball on this thing. We didn't generate a referral out of this client. They didn't feel loved. They lit us up some way, somehow, some way, or something like that. So we're going to actually look at those. And I'll spend more time on those personally, introspectively. Than I'm not going to totally shred my team over that, but I definitely want to look at those things and see if somebody's just not performing at the level they should be. We're going to do our core culture test. I'm going to make sure I got buy-in from everybody. They're happy, that they're feeling loved and appreciated, because if they're not, I need to address that as a leader. We're going to look at their major metrics and responsibilities. They understand exactly what it is that they signed up for, if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, if they have bandwidth issues, if there are suggestions or ideas that they can help improve processes or systems for the team. I want to look at that. I want to hear from them. I want them to have ownership of what we're doing. Then we're going to look at their personal goals, the 7 boxes of life, the wheel of life. I didn't spend a lot of time on that, but Andy can share those forms with you, and they're pretty self-explanatory, but it is a valuable tool to spend a little bit extra time with your team. And then we're going to look at, okay, what are we going to work on? How did we do on our database this year? What can I grow? How can I grow my database referrals? How can I grow my builder referrals or my business referrals? How can I get more juice out of the orange? How can I generate more current client referrals with our team through better customer service, more communication? What systems are we going to add more videos? We're going to do more one-time videos. We're going to do introduction videos. All those kinds of things. We're going to have a list and a due date for each one of those things. First quarter, second quarter, first month, second month, whatever we're going to do to make that happen, so we can be very intentional about growing our business.
Okay.
And then make sure we got our money right. Make sure we got the right team in place, talent-wise, attitude-wise, and so on. And then I'm going to turn everybody loose and let them do their job. Steve Jobs said, I don't hire stupid people and tell them what to do. I hire really smart people and let them figure out what they can do for me. So that was a big aha for me. So I want to surround myself with some really neat, talented people that I like, that I share values with, and vice versa. I'm going to take really good care of them. And if I do that, they're going to take really good care of me and my clients, which is very important to me.
That is fantastic. So here's how I want to summarize some of this stuff. One, a couple of takeaways I got that are really big is if you're doing 3 transactions per month right now and you don't have an assistant, you're understaffed. If you want to grow and you even have a part-time one, you're understaffed. We all hire too slowly. So look at that and really dig into the fact that you need more people. And I know it's tough and we hire the wrong people. It's a different craft than just being a sales beast and just getting out there. But it is a craft that helps you have balance in your life and helps you grow to levels that you can't otherwise. Dayton, how long is this meeting with your team?
That could be a couple of hours, and,
Okay.
and we call it half day.
Okay.
So we'll bring in breakfast. We'll go off-site, get away from the office, and we'll spend the better part of a half day. And so we'll have some fun, like I said, celebrating our victories, celebrating some personal accomplishments and achievements, and celebrating some team things, lots of accolades for people, and then we'll get down into the heavy lifting part of it to figure out and make sure they're all aligned. So all my transaction coordinators have the same metrics and goals.
Right.
All of my buyer's agents have the same metrics and goals, so there's no misunderstanding on that. And they own their job. That's the number one thing, is they understand what their job is, what their role is, and they own it.
Perfect. That's huge. If you are, I would say this translates very well, though, if you're just a single agent out there with one assistant or just by yourself. I mean, you're just going to be looking at not what did your team look like, but what did you do well? Where can you improve? How did you drop the ball? What are you going to focus on next year? Would you agree with all of those things? This translates perfectly if you're even just a one-man show?
Well, absolutely. And this is the value that Andy brings to the relationship. Your broker's not going to be able to help you with that. And so in a confidential, non-judgmental way, Andy can sit down with you and say, let me help you grow your business. Let's look at what you did right, what you did wrong, where you could be improving. So if you're open to coaching, he has worked with us and has access to a lot of really good realtors across the country that have done this for years. And we do it as coaches and we do it as practitioners. I'm not sitting here telling you how hotshot I was 10 or 15 years ago, or what a great short sale guy I used to be, or anything like that. These are all the things that we're actually doing right now. And so Andy's got access to that. He can help you have that conversation. I don't think our spouses or family or partners actually get what it is we do for a living. They think it's kind of fun and neat, but they don't really appreciate all that's involved in it. So somebody who's in the industry but who can do it in a non-judgmental way, I think is very valuable to sit down there and you bounce some ideas off of, this will work, this won't work. Or if he's not sure, he'll call me or one of our other coaches and say, hey, you know what, this works really well in this market. You ought to be able to try it. And here's what your spin needs to be. You're not geared up for that. Yes, you are. Do these in this order, as opposed to let's just go out ass over apple cart and then crash because we weren't properly funded, weren't planned properly, or anything else.
So here's the thing, just so you know, on that note, guys, I'm doing my annual goal setting and business planning breakfast and learn on December 14th. We'll have breakfast at 8:30. The session will be 1 hour. We'll be focusing on the 7 boxes of life. And then, sorry, I got a meeting coming up, guys. Whoops. Google, I can't figure out how to turn those alerts off. So we'll have the 7 boxes of life. We'll be focusing on that, and we'll be focusing on the things, what you did right, and what are the focuses going to be for next year to get your first 90 days off like a rocket ship so you can meet those goals next year. So it's really strong in time. We go over numbers and tactics, and so it's a really good time. We'd love for you to have you there. If you're interested in that, just email me. You can go to thetuttlegroup.com or just email me through that. And a lot of you know my email, andy@andytuttle.com. Just email me there, and I will get that. Also, Dayton, speaking of the core, all of you that are on this call, if you would like to have to talk with Dayton more just about how to sign up for the core or learn more about how that coaching can help you, it is an amazing program for lenders and for realtors. I think we had over 160 people out of the 400 make over $1 million this year, and of realtors and lenders, and they're doing it with balance in their lives, giving to charity, loving on their families, serving their clients, and doing it by referral. So, Dayton, could you take 60 seconds and just talk to them about that? And then we're just going to let them reach out to us and maybe get on a follow-up call just to specifically talk to those that want to learn more about coaching and all the levels of coaching you guys offer.
Fantastic. So I got involved in the Corps in 2000 from its inception. I met Rick through by referral only, and he was opening up the Corps. It was the right place at the right time. I was past the scripts and dialogue part of my career. I needed a boss. I needed the structure, and so on. So in the 15 years I've been involved in this organization as a student and as a coach, I've gone from about $20 million in sales to $120 million in sales, a 3 or 4 person team to a 21 person team. I've been able to make a great deal of money, which I'm happy about. More important, I've been able to give away a lot of money, save for retirement, and I've had more vacation time, more travel time than I've ever had in my life. So I've been very fortunate. We have several levels of coaching available too. We've got a CD program that'll get you primed on what we do and how we do it. We do a personal budget every month. We do a P&L every month. We have checklists, systems, scripts, dialogues for everything that you want to do, when to hire, how to interview. All that stuff's available to you at the various levels of our coaching. We'll have an event in May that's invitation only. If you're a $10 million and up producer as an agent, you're welcome to have a conversation with us about that. If you have ambitions to get that bigger, then we'd like to visit with you. We have programs to fit every need and every budget. It is tremendous. It will change your life. I don't know what else to tell you about it, but it's just been spectacular. And all of our coaches are practitioners in the business. Again, we're not sitting here telling you how hotshot we used to be, or what a great short sale market I was, or what a great REO specialist I was. I'm a referral-based guy. Of the 500 transactions we'll close this year, 88% of those are referred to me by somebody. Database, builders, business partners. I don't buy leads. I don't do Boomtown or Tiger leads. I'm a referral-based agent. So if you're interested in a business like that, would love to help you. If you're a Zillow guy, I'm not your coach. That's not our thing. We're not good at it. That's not what we preach.
Right. No, I think that's fair enough, man. Well, look, Dayton, I really appreciate your time. Guys, if you want to get signed up for the Breakfast and Learn or with Dayton for any of the calls, I put my email address in chat. There's also several other links in there, so take a look at that. Reach out to us. We'd love to get you on a call with Dayton to find out more about coaching, just to help you grow, man. That's why we do this. That's why I'm doing this call, and I work to get realtors like this on the show, is I really want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to give to you guys to help you grow your business and be more successful. And then we just want to share in that success. That's the whole game plan. That's why we do this. And we're excited for you. I mean, you know this, most of you, my mom's been a realtor for 25 years. So I've seen the ups and downs. I know it's like I got into this business 15 years ago because my dad was a missionary. He had a heart to serve. And then my mom was complaining about lenders. So it just seemed a good need that I could serve. And that's what I've been doing for 15 years. Would love to help you in your business more. Want to see you at the Breakfast and Learn. And I want to sincerely know from you how I can help add more value to your business. And we'll package all this series up. We're going to send it out and get it all to you guys so you have every single webinar and some checklists and scripts to go with it. And we just appreciate you and hope you have an awesome end of your year. Dayton, thank you so much again.
Andy, my pleasure. Again, I apologize to everybody for the technical difficulties. Thanks for hanging in there, Andy. Geez, I don't know how many workarounds we came up with to make this happen. So, like I said, I'm not a technology guy, but I would love to help anybody out. Any of your people, if they need something, I'd be more than happy to do whatever I can, share anything we've got with them. And I hope you have a wonderful Christmas, great holiday. Let me know if there's anything else I can do for you, my friend.
Thank you. Appreciate you too, Dayton. Same to you. See you later.
All right.
Bye.
All right, y'all take care.
Bye, everybody.
Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys. Thanks.